What up, everybody? What's happening? How's everybody doing? What do we got over here? We got Hanbi's here. Yes, sir. I'm gonna take this chat out so I can see it and pop it over closer to my other screen. Um, yeah, because I don't need to see me, but I want to see what your questions are. What's up, Sydney? What's going on? Um, Oh, this thing got tilted. Sorry about that. There we go. I'm right here in the middle. Oh, sorry. There we go. I hadn't done this in a while. Had to configure my whole setup back again. Hadn't done the live here. So when I got my exam boa on, there we go. I'm a professional here, so don't worry about it. What's up, Victoria? How we doing? How we doing? Hopefully everybody's having a great night. I just got back from the old Costco, getting you guys some snacks and drinks and the old getting set for the Liberty Juice that you guys will have. What's up, Mia? I know Mr. Heimler is doing his at 8, but I completely forgot about that. And I was just like, I got home and I was like, what up? And I was thinking to myself, I'm not really doing anything. So throw on a YouTube live, answer any questions you guys have. And, but this will be recorded for anybody who wants to jump over to his live. I will not be offended, right? I put it on my Instagram too. So what up, Matt? What up? What up? We got 10 votes. Okay, so hopefully we get some people in here. How many do we have in here right now? Oh, we got 10 people. That's cool. What's up, Murray? How are you doing? How you doing? Welcome everybody. I am. I don't have anything planned. I was just gonna answer some questions. I could. Yeah. I mean, I can bring up that term sheet. I believe it's on our Google Classroom, and I can answer any questions you guys have. I was going to do this on Instagram, but then I would have to hold my phone because you can't go live from your computer on Instagram. So that's the only reason why I didn't do that. So that's the reason for that thing. We have, let me pull up Google Classroom and pull up that terms sheet, and you guys could ask me some questions. Hey, Sophie. No, there's not going to be a lot of questions from 2000 to present, like barely any at all. I would not worry about that at all. Let me pull it. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now I'm in the right spot. I have so many different accounts on here. Yeah, I wish you guys could like talk live. You know what I mean? You wouldn't have to type it out, but we deal what we got to deal with. But you could just, if you pull out your, Spencer's leaving. Where you going, buddy? Exam review, the terms. Where's that at? Exam review. Sorry. Class lecture. Where am I trying to go here? Sorry. We have APUSH ambush, class lecture. Is it on unit reviews? No. I was looking for that terms worksheet. I know it was on here. I cannot find it. Weekly schedule, chapter questions. Huh. What's up, Maria? Yeah, so if you guys want to ask any questions, I am here. I have my exam boa on. I am ready to go. If you have questions about anything, I am here to answer them. It's a top thing in classwork section. Maybe I did not. It's in first period. Yeah, they have the unit 8, but I was looking for that terms. I have the timelines. I thought I had that terms and movements thing saved on there. Maybe I didn't. Oh, okay. I got it. 2020. Yeah, I don't have the new one for some reason. Doesn't matter. I'll pull up some of it. So at least I can see it. And it's the top thing in classwork section. Okay, let's keep going. I got it up here, so I can see it somewhat. So let's go to the questions here, right? Can you go over what topics have the most worth on the exam? Right. Well, you have, like I said in class today, you have to remember the different areas, right? And I said about, remembering in between the wars, and make sure you know about the progressive movement, right? And what that entailed, the Populist Party. And I know it's very short, but it's still, they like to ask questions about it. Definitely the New Deal, but not all those individual programs. You just need some of them. You don't need all of them. Now it's annoying me. So hold on 1 second. I'm just sticking in my head. Oh, I see it now. I gotcha. Okay, perfect. Okay. So that way you could just put up a number if you want me to talk about something. You know what I mean? You don't have to type the whole thing out. And Teddy Roosevelt was the one with the square deal. Yeah, and FDR was the two New Deals, right? No, you're right, Sophie. That's perfectly correct. Teddy Roosevelt was the square deal, right? FDR was the two New Deals. The first one he passed as soon as he became president, and then the second one was after he got re-election in 1934. All right. Briefly go over 19th century writers. You're not gonna have anything on those writers. You're not gonna have anything, Miguel. Don't worry about those. Maria, do have to know all the parties and what they supported. You definitely need to know for the parties, right? You definitely need to know the Federalist and Anti-Federalist. Those are going to be at the very beginning, right? George Washington was the Federalist, along with Alexander Hamilton. And then that's going to be against Thomas Jefferson, also a Federalist, John Adams, second president, right? And they're mostly for, the Federalists are for federal power. Anti-Federalists are for more state power, right? That's Thomas Jefferson. So the easy way to remember that is definitely around the Constitution and how they fought for the Constitution in the Federalists. And then the Anti-Federalists, they're the ones that fought for the Bill of Rights that were added to the Constitution. Because without the Anti-Federalists, we do not have a Bill of Rights to this day. And so you need to know as far as other parties, right? And Nico, yeah, I see that. I'll get to you. Miguel's 30. Can I go over the Gilded Age? Yeah, Hambi, that's going to be, that was 6 chapters in the book. That's like an entire unit. So that's going to be kind of hard. But I can go over some individual questions that you have in there. Can I explain the parties, right? The big thing, right, when we change from the Free Soil Party to the Republican Party, all right? And that's going to be, Lincoln is going to be at first in the Free Soil Party, which is trying to contain slavery, right? to the area that it's currently in when they add the Mexican cession. Then the Free Soil Party is going to kind of go away, and then we're going to have the Republican Party. But also remember, and I mentioned this in a couple different classes today, the Free Soil Party is a bunch of racist people too, who just don't want black people at all to be in the new Mexican cession, right? That new territory. They're like, we don't want slaves because we don't want black people out there, right? That doesn't mean all of them. It just means some of them. And as far as like other parties, the Populist Party, that's early in the 1890s, like 6 years in the 1890s, the Populist Party, and that was about populism, the move of populism for farmers because they were fed up with all the things that were happening in the Gilded Age, with the ultimate, free market capitalism, running away, taking everything, only the rich getting uber wealthy, and leaving the farmers behind to pay for tariffs, to pay for all of these things. Nico, okay. The GI Bill, right? The GI Bill was, somebody forgot to turn off their cell phone. My bad. Hold on. Let me silence this bad boy here. There we go. The GI Bill, okay? That was really about after the military came home from World War II, right? They were there to help. The government was there to help those GIs, those men who came home, get a home loan and get an education, which led to them being really secure in their family. And that family security led to them having a lot of babies, which is the baby boom, which also led to prosperity throughout the 1950s. So you have this time period really from 45 to 60 where it's just good things for the people coming home from the military. And for a lot of Americans, as long as you are not a black person in the South, because there's still a lot of rampant racism. We still have huge problems of segregation in the South. Michael, 66. All right. The naval building limitations. Okay, so that one was just about the Japan, England, and the United States not executing large numbers of Navy in order to quell some type of, what they believed was going to be another war after World War I. So the building limitations were on these countries. They're like, okay, we won't build too much Navy because we learned our lesson from World War I. Well, did they? No. Okay, so that didn't happen. That's what we're talking about with the naval building. And it was really for Japan, the United States, and Great Britain. Victoria, what are the main things you need to know about the Vietnam and Cold Wars? The Vietnam War, right, is on, and I definitely would take a look at the Unit 8 slideshow. You have the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which starts Vietnam, and then just the sheer escalation by Lyndon Johnson and also Richard Nixon, and the fact that the Gulf of Tonkin incident, which starts Vietnam, is faked, and it is faked because of the Pentagon Papers that are finally released that show that the entire incident was faked. So we went to Vietnam for absolutely no reasons. And really the Cold Wars, the real thing with the Cold War is communism versus capitalism, okay? The Berlin Wall, when the Berlin Wall comes down in 1989, Ronald Reagan tells Mikhail Gorbachev, take down this wall, right? That's what he says, and it eventually happens. And the Cold War is, we're going to have all these proxy wars between, Vietnam is a proxy war. It's us versus China, and all of this is about containment, right? These are very, very important, that concept of containment, and it started with the Truman Doctrine, which was right after World War II. We wanted to contain communism to the countries in which it was happening. So we basically fight the Korean War, we fight the Vietnam War, and then we also get involved in a nuclear battle with the Cuban Missile Crisis. Okay, hopefully that answered everything. But also with Vietnam are the protests, Kent State protest. That's in the Unit 8 review. Hey, buddy, how's it going, huh? You coming over for some loving? There you go. And yeah, the Kent State, there's 4 college. There you go. What are you doing? 4 people in college. I think it was two boys and 3 girls killed in Kent State because they were just protesting the Vietnam War. All right, Matthew, what's the difference between the first and second Great Awakening? Just time period. First one is in the 1730s and 40s, and that's George Whitefield, the one that took on George Washington in the first round of APUSH Madness. He was a 16 seed. Basically, it's just an awakening of religious fervor in the United States, and how that people just kind of in different times. So when they first came to the United States, you had the Puritans, and they were like real religious, right? They killed a bunch of witches and they did all these things. But then slowly, over the next 30 years, into the 1730s, 40s, there was a lack of religion. And so this George Whitefield started going around the country and started bringing up the religion, and was this whole thing of like, you don't do things wrong, you're going to hell. It's like this whole fire and brimstone speeches. And the second Great Awakening is the same thing. It's just in a different time period. Okay. The Northern and Southern Democrats before the Civil War, right? So, okay. So Northern and Southern Democrats, the Northern Democrats, right? That what would they be called, right? You're thinking in your head, it's a snake, right? It's a penny. If you're saying to yourself, you don't have to type it, right? Copperheads, right? They're the Northern Democrats. They're the ones that are going to be for the war, but they're living in the North, right? So the Southern Democrats, what's up, Emma? Oh, I can't remember what the saying was. It's O'Day. Oh, well, I forgot it now. I don't know. My brain's going all kinds of ways. And the Southern Democrats, that is basically everybody in the South. From Jefferson Davis, the president, all of the people in the South are Democrats, right? And in the North, you're going to have Republicans and then Northern Democrats. But those are going to be called Copperheads. Woe day, it's O-Day. That's right. Okay. Calling up Calder. Woe day, it's O-Day. Sophie. Okay. So hopefully I got that for you, Sophie. Homestead and Pullman strikes. Interstate Commerce Act. Interstate Commerce Act was just about the difference in saying that the United States government has control over interstate commerce alone, okay? The Homestead and Pullman strikes, you're not going to need to know those. Don't worry about those. The amendments, Vincent. Okay, the amendments you definitely have to know. I'll give you guys a second if you want to write these things down. I think I mentioned them in class, but maybe I didn't, And so the amendments, right? 1, obviously. 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are going to be big ones. You definitely have to know those. And most of the first, the Bill of Rights, right? 13, 14, 15. Yes, Victoria, they were in favor of slavery. 13, 14, 15. Those are the Reconstruction Amendments. Okay. Then you're really gonna have. You're not gonna 16. You're not gonna need those. 16, 17, 18. You guys all need to know that one, right? That's going to be the abolishment of, or the prohibition of slavery, jeez, of alcohol. 19th Amendment, right? We all know that one. And then 21, right? And then as far as after 21, you're really not going to need to know any of the other ones. Who do we got? Pedro, 61. What do we got here? Open door policy. Open door policy. That was involving China. Remember, the European nations and America wanted to trade with China. European nations already had, so they had those fears of influence where they were trading with them. And we're like, hey, we want a piece of that. Let's, can we get in there, right? And then we're going to have some wars, and we're going to have the Chinese rebelled, and then we made them pay us because they rebelled. But the open door policy was the fact of us wanting to have an open door to trade to this huge Chinese market, which it was even way back then, because there's just a lot of people even way back then. Michael 104. Stagnation in the 70s. Okay, so stagnation in the 70s. The real sources of this were the fact that we had so much growth from 45 to 69. And you got to remember, after the war, right? The manufacturing went crazy during the war. People made tons and tons of money. Manufacturing jobs went through the roof. People moved into cities. They started making a lot of money. They also moved to the suburbs. We're now buying a lot of goods. We're making a lot of goods. So it just came a point where it couldn't really drop that far, but there were still jobs. So it wasn't like a depression. It was called stagnation, where it just didn't get any more, which is usually bad for an economy. But because everything was so base there was strong, we didn't dip. We didn't have a recession, but we didn't go up either, and that's known as stagnation. And it happened during the 70s because you're going to have OPEC crisis with they finally get together in the Middle East and start clamping down on oil supplies to get paid more. And that's a big part of it. And also just the push after the 60s, this craziness that was the 60s. And it kind of just, everybody had a lull in the 70s. All right. And that was 104. Oh, that's the one I just did. And we did 61. I'm just trying to remember. Yeah, okay, we already did that. How specific do you think they'll get about the Warren court cases? Not that specific. This American government next year, you'll get real specific on cases. They're not going to get that specific on cases. They won't. Northern Democrats were in favor of slavery. Yes. For the most part, yes. Wow, I got through all those questions. That was good. This exam boa is not the coolest thing in the world to wear. I'll tell you that. Can you go over Dred Scott impacted Canede, and Missouri? The Kansas, Nebraska. Okay, and Missouri Compromise and Roger Taney Court, right? So, Dred Scott, right? The Dred Scott case with Roger Taney as the Chief Justice. Old droopy face. He's a guy who looks like I can't even do that. But okay, Air of Good Feelings. Yeah, we'll go over that one too. Dred Scott impacted, so Kansas, Nebraska. So what happened there was, remember, Dred Scott was a slave that was moved to a free territory. And what happened is he sues for his freedom, and it goes to the Supreme Court, and Roger Taney decides to hear the case. And the problem here is Roger Taney decides to go above and beyond and declare that if you move your slave somewhere, you will not have to, the state government can't take away property without due process, right? So it kind of voided everything that told you couldn't take slaves somewhere. And this is all in the 1850s, right before the Civil War. So the South was like, lovely, this is awesome. The North was so mad. And that's the real big impact on those. Era of Good Feelings, right? The Era of Good Feelings was James Monroe, and it was really just called the Era of Good Feelings because there was only one political party, right? And so everybody kind of joined up. It was really just for, a number of years, just a one political party. Water's tasty. What else we got? What was the thing that weakened Stephen Douglas during the debates? Harper's Ferry and the reaction of the North and South. Yeah. So Stephen Douglas in the... What was the thing that weakened? Oh, man. I'm having a brain fart on that one. You stumped me. It was... Golly. See? This is why I'm not a professor. Oh, what was it? I gotta do it without looking it up. Come on, Mr. Green. I'm gonna come back to you. I'm gonna come back to it, Sophie. Can you guys go over Harper's Ferry and the reaction of the North and South? Right? Yeah, Harper's Ferry, John Brown, crazy John Brown, still on the run from the murders at Potawatomi Creek. And yeah, but it's driving me crazy, Sophie. I don't remember with Stephen Douglas. He gives. I know it has something to do. Okay. I'll think about it. But John Brown in Harper's Ferry, right? He goes to take over a arsenal and to start a slave revolt. And the reaction in the North was swift, right? Even Frederick Douglass, Harriet Tubman were supposed to meet him there. And they were like, yeah, nah, son, you're a little too cray-cray for me. And they don't. And so nobody really comes down from the neighboring plantations to take up arms to start this revolt because they're all scared. And they can't use guns. They have never touched a gun in their life. They're not allowed to. It's illegal. So there's the big problem here. And so the South is the scariest thing that they could possibly think of. Is a white person, right? Because John Brown gets killed, becomes a martyr. A white person gives his life to start a slave revolt. That's about the scariest thing, because slave revolts are the scariest thing. And a white person leading said slave revolt and then giving his life for it, right? So all of that really scared the North, scared the South, and that the North and Northern people would not give up until slavery was done. So they really saw secession. Harper's Ferry put it on the mind of basically everybody in the South that we are probably going to secede. It's just going to need something else, and that something else is going to be Lincoln's election. But the reaction in the North was people really started like, hey, this white guy just gave his life to try and free slaves. It made abolitionists out of a lot more people. Started to see the light that maybe slavery should be abolished. Wasn't his doctrine Mia? Oh, 1 to 10. He is cray. 1, no way. 10 all the way. He is really crazy. I gotta look it up now because I know you guys can look it up too. You have Google. I don't know why I can't remember. I'm gonna go crazy when I see the reason why. And it was really over. Oh, it was man. Oh my God, popular sovereignty, right? He wanted to give people the chance to have slavery, where Abraham Lincoln was like, yeah, we should not expand slavery because he was a free soiler, right? But Stephen Douglas kind of gave them that chance. And even though in the end Lincoln loses, he wins the war because he becomes president later on. There we go. And beliefs of the Whig Party, right? So the Whig Party is going to believe in strong tariffs, a bank, and I'm trying to think of other things that you would need to know for the Whig Party. They're not really going to ask you a lot about the Whig Party. They really aren't. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have a lot on that one, Victoria. Roosevelt Corollary, right? So the Roosevelt Corollary was just released to try and keep out any European interaction, because what was happening in the South, in Central and South America, where these people, remember, they were defaulting on their loans to European nations. And so Roosevelt didn't want them to default and then have these European nations be able to stick their nose in the South, in South America, in Central America. And so he's like, I will collect the loans and I will pay off Europe. Europe, you stay out of it. But Europe's like, but we loaned them the money. And Teddy's like, yeah, I don't care, son. So that's what the Roosevelt Corollary was. It was just a furthering of the Monroe Doctrine, was trying to keep Europe out of Central and South America. Do you need to know super specific stuff about corruption during the Gilded Age, like Boss Tweed? Yes, definitely about like Boss Tweed, and that there was corruption throughout the Gilded Age, and that was just because the sheer amount of money, and also like how horrible the conditions were for the regular working man, right? And Boss Tweed, what is the thing that Boss Tweed went through? You know, what was he in charge of? What was that called? Political machine, right? And remember what the political machine was. It was getting votes, right, from those immigrants coming off the boats, and they would get them in an apartment, they would get them a job, but then they would charge them so much and pay them so little that, yes, they could live, but they couldn't accomplish anything. They couldn't get ahead. Meanwhile, they're being forced to vote for the people that Boss Tweed wants them to vote for. He's fleecing New York City for millions upon millions of dollars, and the immigrants aren't making anything from it. What was the purpose of the 4 Reagan-Gorbachev summits? That was just trying to find a way to end the Cold War, right? To end this stalemate between the countries and have them be some sort of a partner going forward. That's what you need to know for those 4 summits. Yeah, internal improvements like infrastructure. Thank you, Sophie. Miguel, 70. Let me pull that up. Hold on. Ford Model T assembly line, right? That's the right one. No, I don't think that's it. Hold on, I think I'm looking at the wrong one here, because I made 2 of them. There we go. Might be the same. Yeah, Scopes trial and cultural conflict. Scopes trial, right? Okay, thanks, Miguel. Now, the Scopes trial, the big thing with the Scopes trial was, think about it in your head, Scopes monkey trial. That's what it's called, right? Monkey. They're talking about the science teacher from Tennessee who tried to teach evolution when it was made illegal to teach evolution, right? Even though this is well after Charles Darwin's published, and most people are agreeing that that is a scientific principle. Oh, I'm almost out of water. And yeah, and then the impact that it had, you had William Jennings Bryan was the prosecutor in it, and he lost again, the big L. But it was just the fact that it was a pushback against something as scientifically proven as theory of evolution. Are we going to need to know specifics about 76? Labor unions, not a whole bunch of them, but in how the immigrants, the Sherman Antitrust Act, how that affected labor unions, because that was supposed to hurt the monopolies and the trust, but it ended up hurting the unions instead. What else we got here? The AFL and yeah, Samuel Gompers and what he no, really just the AFL. Oh, what's up, Bob? Oh, Kale. What's going on, man? That's a pusher right there from back in the day. How's it going? We're just going over they have their exam in 2 days. Michael, 77. Neutrality acts. Okay. Now the neutrality acts, what are they going to be around? So look at it in the time frame, right? This is Richard's like, there's a Calc 3. Yeah, I know. Calc 3, get out of here with that, Kale. That's crazy. Yeah, the neutrality acts, this is really just going to be for, look at that. Oh, good job. University of Oklahoma. That's cool, man. Oh, you got that APUSH credit. That's awesome. Yeah, I know some colleges do, especially, depending on what you get, you can definitely get some credit for it. Oh my gosh. Calc 4 differential equations and linear algebra? Jeez. Good luck, buddy. I can help you with history if you have one of those questions. If you have one of those courses, I mean. And we got, what else we got on here? I was studying for Cal. No, okay, that's, where was I at? Oh, 77. Neutrality acts. That was just trying to keep everybody neutral after World War II. I mean, World War I, I'm sorry. But it's not really going to work. It's trying to keep everybody from getting involved in another world war. And yeah, good luck with that, Cade, man. You're a stronger man than me on that one. Linear algebra, I don't even know what that means. Nullification crisis. You're welcome, Cade. We'll see you, buddy. Get back to studying the important stuff, right? We're gonna stay here with APUSH, even though this is more important because it's cooler. But we'll see you, man. Thanks for stopping in. We have more nullification crisis, right? The nullification crisis, that was around the nullification of laws by South Carolina, right? They wanted to nullify things written by the federal government, all right? And because of the tariffs, that they're trying to nullify the tariff abominations by Andrew Jackson, they're trying to nullify laws. Well, the problem with this is, in trying to nullify laws, it's going to put it in people's minds that the states can nullify laws of the federal government, which they can't because they've signed in to the Constitution. Okay, Cross of Gold speech, right? That is William Jennings Bryan, and that is a big speech about that we need to be on the gold standard, right? We need to get back on the gold standard, and that's really what it's about. It's an economic thing about staying on the gold standard. Can you explain the Bank of the United States and pet banks? I have trouble wrapping my head around all the financial stuff. Yeah, the financial stuff does get very confusing. The Bank of the United States, right? Andrew Jackson does not want the Bank of the United States. He does not want it to continue. So what does he start doing? He starts withdrawing money from the Bank of the United States and putting it in his, quote unquote, pet banks, right? And those pet banks are people that have helped him in the past. And the problem with this is it's going to, along with the specie circular, which said that you had to pay for land with gold, is going to really cause a financial crisis in the country, because you're not going to have one bank, really helping with currency, helping with loans. It's going to be all these individual banks with different economic policies and principles. Okay. Yeah, you can always blame the next president for that. Except for Washington. He's the only president who didn't blame the former administration, right? Whereas I would say, you need to finish up 8. I know we didn't really finish through 8, but, we'll write down more questions that you have, because I'm going to stop here in about like 5 minutes because I can't do this too much longer. And circle some more questions, come up with some more questions for tomorrow we can discuss in class if you're going to be there. I know not everybody's going to be there, but, look through Unit 8 that I posted, the PowerPoint, and then really focus between 4 and 7, all right? And just focus on those, go through those unit reviews, and, the terms and movement sheet. If you can do most of the stuff on that, and you can't do all of it. I can't even do everything on that terms and movement sheet to full extent, right? But you don't need to do all of it. If you can do most of it, if you can do 80%, you're good to go. Yeah, well, he did blame Great Britain a little bit, but, you had the Articles of Confederation he could blame. Do we need to know the Grant administration scandals? You don't need to know the individual scandals. The Fisk and Gould. Now, here's the thing. They're not going to ask you about the scandals. But, again, it's like one of those MCQ things where if they put the Fisk and Gould scandal in there and then they're talking about a scandal, you need to know kind of what they are, but you don't need to know you have the Teapot Dome scandal, but you don't need to know the details of them, right? So if they mention something about it, you can go, oh, okay, that was during Grant, and I can eliminate that, or that might be the answer, right? But you're not going to have have to, have a whole written thing on them, okay? What up, Michael Castillo? Yes, I am, Mr. APUSH Green, that is. 1994 crime bill in Whitewater. So 1994 crime bill written by the current president of the United States, Mr. Joseph Biden. This dramatically increased, and it was signed by Bill Clinton, the amount of people who are imprisoned. It increased the time in which people would commit fairly low crimes, would go into jail for long periods of time, and this is going to coincide with the privatization of prisons, because if you can put people in prison, then you privatize them. Well, all those people, the government's paying the prisons to be private, and therefore they are lobbying Congress to pass stronger and stronger bills to put more people in prison, which is why we have so many people in prison in the United States. The 1994 crime bill is a big part of that. And Whitewater is around. Did I put Whitewater on here? That's with Bill Clinton. Did I put that on here? Let me see. Yeah. Whitewater was this. I really don't even remember what Whitewater was. It was a scandal with him. Yeah. I don't remember what that one was. Sorry. I had one MCQ ask me that. For the LEQ, DBQs, what will the most likely be the topics? Oh, jeez. I don't know. Remember, the LEQ, you're going to have a choice of 3. Units 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you'll be able to choose the one that you know the most about, right? So that one they can be about anything. If you go back and you look on, what I posted on Google Classroom for the different ones, you can look at 2018, 2019, and get an example of those were the exam FRQs. The DBQ also, if you go, Emma, for the DBQs, if you go to the free response questions, it has the entire sheet. I put it in there, I think. DBQ worksheet. So if you go to it, you have despite, which is your counter argument, right? And then you have two pieces of evidence and then your argument, right? So despite, because of these two things, and then what your argument is. And that's the same thesis for both the DBQ and the LEQ, okay? Yeah, make sure that you guys take a look at the DBQ thing. And also remember, here, I can put it on the screen here in a second. Hold on. I thought I had it. Oh, the checklist. Let's see. Let me see if I can put it on here. I think it's window capture. Yeah, this one. Yeah, there we go. I guess, yeah, there we go. That way you can see it, right? The two different things. The first step for the DBQ, read the question. What is it asking? Compare, change over time, causation, the time period. Read it again. Read through the documents. You take 15 minutes to read through them, right? And then you come up with your HAP, historical situation, audience, purpose, point of view, for 3 of the documents. You only have to come up with 1 of those things for 3, all right? Then you get your thesis, it's been a lot of talking today. Don't restate the prompt though, right? You can a little bit, but don't full restate it. You can put parts of it in there. But your thesis is what I said with the, if you can pull up, and don't worry about the complexity, right? Yes, Michael, exactly. Remember, the whole reason that you're grouping these things is to make it easier to compare them, right? Instead of comparing, because you got to do 6 of them minimum, right? So you're going to do all 7. So 2 or 3 groups to compare them to each other. It makes it easier than just going through each individual group and doing it. Let me, and then you have, where is it at? Oh, not that one. Yeah, I would keep them in paragraphs. You know what I mean? Your groups in paragraphs. But you know what I mean? You don't have to. You're not going to lose points because they're not in paragraphs, right? Because when they're reading it, they're just trying to find your points that you're doing. And so, here, remember this worksheet that we did? So if you can work through this one, at least look through it, right? There's your thesis, despite, counter argument, because, blank and blank, and then your argument. It's very easy to remember, right? And it just makes it a lot easier to defend and make sure that you get the point for the thesis because you have an historically defensible argument for the prompt. Okay? There we go. All right, get that pretty good. I don't even see how many people we had. I was looking at that one. 19 people on here. That's cool. Yes. You don't really need a conclusion, per se. Yeah, just a general wrap-up is fine. Exactly, Emma. When you aren't sure how you would answer otherwise, or is it better to work with what they give you? Modifying LEQ prompts. I mean, if you don't answer the question, they can't give you the points. That's the only problem with that. LEQs are because you're not analyzing those documents against each other. That's the difference, Emma. You're just writing, right? Remember, I'll bring it up here. So you have no, not that one. This one. Okay, hold on. So you can see here, right? You just have your thesis, contextualization, 2 points of evidence, and then an argument about using those 2 points of evidence will get you 2, right? If you just use 2 like random pieces of historical evidence, you get 1 point. If you use those pieces of evidence in a relative argument that supports it, you'll get 2 points. Then you have to have historical reasoning that addresses the prompt. Complex understanding, we all know we can't get that. So remember, this is the LEQ formatting. Yeah. I mean, the structure is not that important. The thing is, you just have to answer the things that they're asking you to answer. And that's the biggest thing I can tell all of you that are watching right now. When you get the questions, the FRQs, make sure you understand what they are asking you to tell them, right? Because the biggest thing that I've seen, because I've been looking at more and more stuff that they've sent me, is just about training, about grading them, is if they don't answer the prompt, there's nothing you can give them a point for, right? So if you're not answering the prompt with anything, you gotta answer the prompts. So make sure you know what they're asking you. And I know for the DBQ, you have evidence argue with each other, but it's the same for LEQ because you don't have sources, just evidence argues. Yeah. So your LEQ is going to be shorter than your DBQ. Okay. Not by a whole bunch, but it doesn't need to be as long. You're not analyzing all the sources. All right. See ya, Sophie. Thank you for tuning in. Yeah, so your LEQ is going to be shorter. Remember that perfect one that we read in class? It was 2 pages in a bit, right? It was just a little bit more than 2 pages. So you don't need to do any more than that. I'm sure you guys want to see my beautiful face, so let me get rid of this here. There we go. Oh, there I am. Oh, that was close. That was close. Oh, okay. Anybody else? This boa was getting itchy. Ugh. There we go. What if you just don't know the question? The LEQ, you get choice of 3. The DBQ, you have to know it. You don't get a choice, right? But you're going to get you're going to be able to read the documents. You're going to be able to read into it. So you should be fine with that. You're given an hour and 40 minutes, Jeremy, together, right? An hour for the DBQ, 45 minutes for the LEQ. That's how much time you should use on those. Michael, the .coms, that's at the end of the 2000s. They were busting up through the 90s, and then there was a bust in the .coms, meaning websites, Google, Yahoo, things like that. And this is my Costco receipt. And there was a big downturn in the early 2000s because the .coms, they just went up like anything. When things go up too fast, then they have a similar downfall. Yeah, that's all I got for that. Should you answer the question in the thesis and then defend in the body paragraphs? Answer the question in the thesis. Well, you have to come up with, depending on what you're talking about, for the LEQ, you're just coming up with historical argument, and then you're coming up with evidence to support your argument. Parker. You guys want to see Spencer before I leave? Do you want to come up here? I know you're sleeping over here. I can see you sleeping. He's just resting. You want to say hi to everybody? I don't know. Do you want to say hi? Shocking car fact. The most valuable car in the world is owned by the guy who sells WeatherTech mats, for your car. It's a 1960 250 GTO with racing heritage. Sold for $68 million for one car. Spencer, they want to see you. Come here. I'll give you a treat in a minute. Come here. Oh, he's like, come on. Come on, man. Come here. Come here. Oh, come here. Oh, I'm getting up. I know, buddy. I know. He's old. Come here. Come on. Come here. I know. I know. Oh. Yeah, buddy. You tell him good luck. Tell him good luck. Oh, you don't hit the keyboard. He's like, don't tell me what to do. I know. You see his ducks on his collar? It's because I'm a duck dog. You want a treat? I'll go get you a treat. Oh, man. Oh, man. Okay, I'll let you go. Good boy. There you go. I'll go get you a treat. Yeah, you need a counter argument in your thesis. Yes. No, Spencer, he would not know much about this. Although he's listened to, think about how much he's heard over the years and me doing these things. So he's heard a lot. Right, buddy? All right. So I'm going to get out of here. That was a nice long hour. What is Liberty Juice? You will find out on Friday. I have some for you guys. It's good. Some other, healthy snacks. And we're going to have some other, little non-healthy snacks. But we'll also have some water for you guys to bring in nice and cold. I'm not going to give you warm water that you guys can bring in. And, yeah, that's it. Like that. No, there's no special sauce with the Liberty Juice. It is just Liberty Juice. I'll post something here on Instagram here in a minute, and it won't give you a clue, but it might pique your interest just a little bit more. All right. So thanks everybody for tuning in. How many people do we have here at the max? Give it a like if you liked it before you tune out. You're welcome. You're welcome. We will see you guys tomorrow. If anybody asks, they can always go back and listen to this. It records itself automatically in post. All right. Thank you, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow. If I see you. If I don't, we'll see you Friday. Okay? Peace out. Let me see if I can stop recording here. Oh, how do I do this? There we go. Wait. In stream. There we are. Deuces, guys.